New South Wales Liberal president, but also an MP. You know the parliamentary side. You know the way the party machine operates as well, Jason Falinski. You know the basis of the party's success in the past. You've said that Tim Wilson, if he wins in Goldstein, should be considered as the next leader. Why is that?
Well, because, I mean, everything Ryan just basically said. I mean, if you're looking for the diamond in the rough, it would be the result in Goldstein. So if Tim does win, he has managed to get a 7 or 8% swing against what occurred in Victoria. And he did that primarily by framing the issues that concerned people in Goldstein around economics, around their lifestyles, around their economic well-being, how they could improve their lives. And because he was able to do that at a local level, which I'm sure Ryan agrees, is incredibly difficult for a candidate to do, even one with a personality as big as Tim's, still requires an enormous effort for him to do. It would seem, even if he doesn't win, that he has pulled that off. Now, if that had been able to be replicated at a parliamentary level, indeed through the organisation, I suspect we'd be standing here or sitting here today talking about a very different result on the weekend. And look, just with what you and Ryan were talking about before, I don't think people care how they voted last time. Australians generally are looking forward, not looking back. So while, yes, Labor now sits on 10 and 15% margins in some of these seats that we need to win back, I can tell you now, from personal bitter experience, that there's no such thing as a safe seat. So I think it's game on, to be honest.
Game on. Well, it's nice to hear some optimism from the Liberal Party and one of its former MPs, Ryan. But that I've got to say, I'm normally very cautious about saying something is a two-term victory. But when you look at this win, Ryan Liddell, it is nearly 90 seats that Anthony Albanese's won, beating the Rudd slide, beating Hawke's victory and margin as well back in the day.
Yeah, that's right, and Jason might point to Tim Wilson being the new the luminary light of the Liberal Party sort of going forward. But if you take a step back and look at what's actually happening with the coalition now, you're almost seeing a live stream of the disintegration of a political movement. The way that the Nats are running around, the way the Libs are running around brief against each other. You've got the cranks and crackpots from down here in South Australia, like Alex Antic coming out saying, make the Liberal Party great again. So he thinks we should move to the right. Then you've got sensible people like Jason saying, let's not talk about issues like that. Let's actually talk about the economy and talk about issues that affect people and might actually influence someone's vote. So this is an absolute political movement in disarray. There was some questions earlier today about possibly splitting the Nats from the Libs, which would be extraordinary in itself. So I think we've got a very, very long way before the political movement of the coalition can be taken seriously again in Australia.
Jason, what do you say to that, the internal dilemma and debate?
Look, I think internal debate is a good thing, not a bad thing. That's the first thing I would say. Second thing I would say is that this is just typical, playbook of the Labor Party 101, which is delegitimise the opposition, say don't pay them any attention, they're not serious, and therefore they get away without any critique in Australian society. Look, I respect Ryan immensely. I think it's a great line and a great tactic by the Labor Party and by the left generally. But the fact is that the political movement that the Liberal Party represents is one of the oldest in the world, and that is one that says the rights of individuals are important and are critical to the way that any community and society works. Indeed, it is the only way that our society has ever progressed and got better. So the issues, our movement's not going anywhere. The parliamentary party needs to get better. The organisation needs to get a hell of a lot better. But at the end of the day, the people we represent ain't going anywhere, and we're going to keep representing them, and we're going to keep holding the Labor Party to account, no matter how inconvenient that is for members of that party.
And we know, Ryan, that the two major parties, they've both had their low points in recent times, and from bitter experience yourself, you've been around the place a long time. It's taken really a great deal of discipline in this last term to ensure that this sort of result is possible. You can't have that disunity which can really kill a political movement.
That's right. And just quickly on Jason's point, I don't think the Labor Party needs to do much to delegitimise, the coalition. I think they did a pretty good job of that on Saturday. But putting that aside, unity is critical, as we both know, when it comes to keeping in place the structure of our major political parties. And to Peter Dutton's credit, he did a very good job of that, keeping the party united post 2022 and the bruising sort of result that was. But you can't have unity at the expense of ideas. And the idea that you can't, that you run a political party as a bit of a sort of internal sort of dictatorship with a leader's office and the leader knows best and portfolio ministers and staff aren't involved in that policy development process, where things aren't stress tested in the way that they should be stress tested before they're sort of taken public. That's what we saw during the campaign, in my view, from the coalition. It meant things were half-baked, it meant things weren't ready. And that's something I think will be one of the hard lessons that the coalition has to learn from this campaign.
Yeah, they've got to try and hold on to some of these seats. And I know, Jason, I've got to get your thoughts finally on someone like Zoe McKenzie in Flinders. You need to elevate a young woman like that, talented individual. But the problem right now is we don't know whether she's going to hold the seat. So this is this sort of limbo that the Liberal Party's in right now.
Oh, but, Kieran, that's 1 or 2 weeks. It's a 3-year process. I'm sure Zoe will get returned. I'm sure Giselle will get elected in Bradfield. There are a number of good people that are coming into the parliament. We've lost a lot of good people as well, don't get me wrong. And yes, I agree with Ryan. I think that that unity at the cost of ideas, it did cost us during the last term, and we did see a lot of ideas go to market that hadn't been stress tested internally, and that was of great cost, and also added to the idea that we were the riskier choice to make. So I think Ryan and I are in agreement on that point at least.
But you'd be going Wilson over someone like Angus Taylor. That's your view.
Look, I think that, yes, is the truth. I think that we need someone who has basically shown that you can actually speak to a part of the constituency, part of the electorate, part of the country that we haven't been speaking to. And I think if Keith Woolahan had still been there, then he's someone that I think we should have also been promoting. Zoe McKenzie as well. All these people are very good people who know how to speak to the people whose votes we want to get and what they're interested in.
And Taylor doesn't, no? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I just think that Tim is better placed to do that at the moment than maybe anyone else. But look, Kieran, he hasn't been elected yet. That's the other thing we've got to keep in mind.
No, that's true. Yeah, true. Jason and Ryan, we've got to let you go. Thanks so much.